Okay, hold on. Did you actually see that finish? Lakers versus Timberwolves, game 3. I mean, what an absolute barn burner.
Oh, yeah.
You've got Anthony Edwards clearly playing through something, looking like a hero, and then bam, this 13-1 run just completely silences the Lakers' home crowd.
It was wild. A total slugfest. Really came down to the final minutes.
Mhm.
But that closing stretch.
Exactly. It makes you think, right? Forget the win or loss for a second. Did that one game just expose something fundamental? Like a new problem for the Lakers that maybe they can't actually fix?
I think that's the key question. That's what we're diving into today.
Okay.
Because that game, it felt like more than just one game. You
Yeah.
know, we've gone through the analysis, the play-by-plays, really trying to figure out what went down.
And why it matters going forward.
Precisely. The mission here is to break down the strategies, look at those big momentum shifts, and really dig into this new problem that seemed to rear its head in Game 3.
All right, so let's rewind. Early game, it looked like the Lakers had a plan.
Yeah, get Andrew Rudy switched on to their main guys and screens.
We saw Hachimura hit that first shot, then LeBron with that classic pin down for the mid-ranger. It even felt like, Ant's defensive gravity was maybe opening things up for LeBron a bit.
It did seem like they had some early success there. What struck you about those opening minutes?
Well, just that initial plan, like you said, LeBron leveraging those switches, making good reads, but the Wolves adjusted pretty quick.
They did. Conley was sharp, finding McDaniels on skip passes when LA doubled. And that early 3 from McDaniels kind of set the tone for his game.
Absolutely. And McDaniels wasn't just scoring. His defense on Doncic was really disruptive, forced those early shot clock issues.
Yeah, the Wolves definitely came prepared for Luka. Constant switching, LeBron helping.
Yeah.
They made him work.
Meanwhile, LeBron was getting to the rim, pushing in transition, opening up lanes. It felt like both teams were poking at each other's potential weaknesses right away.
For sure. And even with LeBron being aggressive, Minnesota found ways to score inside.
Right.
Randall was drawing fouls too. That maybe hinted at a Lakers issue guarding the paint, right? Without fouling.
Yeah, good point. And then the momentum kind of swung. McDaniels hits that handoff 3. Wolves go up 9. You could sort of feel the air go out a little.
How did LA respond to that?
They tried turning up the heat on Doncic, forced some turnovers, but the Wolves just seemed to find answers. Guys like Dorian hitting shots.
It became a real back and forth. Randall crashing the offensive boards, Edwards making some nice passes. That Wolves lead vanished pretty quick, actually. They even went up themselves.
Right, an 11-point turnaround. Then the Lakers tried that zone D. Seemed okay at first. Reeves found some gaps.
It did disrupt things initially.
But it didn't last, did it? Why do you think the zone wasn't like a long-term fix?
Well, Minnesota adapted. Alexander Walker hit some perimeter shots, and their defense got really active again. Forced more of those shot clock problems for LA.
Those are frustrating.
Yeah, it just shows. A zone can work, but against good shooting and ball movement, you've got to be perfect. And they weren't, consistently.
But man, LeBron, even with Doncic obviously sick, he just refused to let them fall too far behind. 16 points in the second quarter, just willing them to stay close.
Incredible performance from him.
But it makes you wonder, though, can you rely on that? Just one guy carrying that load against a defense like Minnesota's in a whole series.
That's a huge question, isn't it? Relying on that kind of individual brilliance consistently. It's tough. It's a really challenging path over 7 games.
Okay, so third quarter starts. Doncic is out, Vincent's in. But McDaniels, he just keeps rolling. That pressure on Reeves forced a turnover right away.
He was having a game.
And even without Luka, the Wolves were scoring. McDaniels got that kind of lucky bank shot. Sometimes you just got to tip your cap, I guess.
You do. And when Doncic did come back, boom, immediate impact with that pass to Hayes. But the Lakers transitioned D in that third quarter. It was rough.
Yeah, they looked a step slow.
And Minnesota made them pay. Consistently. Even when LA blitzed Edwards, he'd recover, find space, hit those big threes.
But Reeves answered back. That lob, then the 3. It felt like every time one team made a push,
The other punched right back.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you could see guys getting tired, right?
Yeah.
That missed Laker layup, then Edwards scores immediately at the other end. That felt significant.
It really did. They called timeout. The defense got a bit better for LA after that, but then Edwards with that huge dunk.
The SeatGeek dunk, yeah. Then the Gobert goaltend controversy, McDaniels going coast to coast, just constant swings.
And Doncic, even with Randall guarding him well, finds ways to score, gets the lead down to 2 going into the 4th. At that moment, what were you thinking? How does this finish?
Honestly, felt like a toss-up. Which brings us to that fourth quarter and what we're calling this new problem. Lakers come out doubling Randall hard in the post.
Okay, aggressive strategy. How did Minnesota counter?
Smart adjustment by Coach Finch. Just move Randall up to the top of the key. Simple, but it changed the angles for the double team.
Opened up cutting lanes.
Exactly. Like that Conley cut for the easy bucket.
Yeah.
Showed good in-game coaching, reacting like that.
And the crowd was electric. Every possession felt huge. They were all over that Edwards defense on DeRozan. Darinzo got him.
Haha, yeah, you could hear it. But even LeBron driving hard, he just had like 3 or 4 Wolves jerseys around him constantly.
And then Conley, that offensive rebound and putback, those second chance points just kill you in tight games.
They absolutely do. And Finch's instructions in the timeout limit turnovers, one shot only, that showed their focus on closing properly.
And even though LeBron was making insane passes out of doubles and Randall hit some tough ones.
It still felt like the Lakers couldn't string together stops, couldn't get clean looks consistently. Remember those instructions about turnovers?
Oh yeah, what happened right after?
Lakers turnover leads directly to McDaniels breaking away for another score, another momentum killer.
Ugh. LeBron tries to drag them back again. Back-to-back threes. Ties the game.
Felt like maybe, just maybe.
Then the fumbled pass. Braun. Just, those mistakes late are so costly.
Deflating. And then Doncic hits the floater, ties it up again, about 4.5 minutes left. And that, right there, feels like the moment.
Okay, what happened next? Because it got ugly quick for LA.
That's the thing. From that point, the Lakers scored 1 more point.
1 point in the last 4.5 minutes.
1 point. Meanwhile, the Wolves just rip off a 13-1 run to absolutely slam the door shut.
Wow.
Edwards just took over. Step back 3, penetrating and kicking out Reed, hits a 3 off one of those, and then just ISO ball, hitting clutch shot after clutch shot.
Yeah.
It was pretty dominant.
And the final stats kind of back that up, right? The paint points.
Yeah, it's staggering. Wolves outscored the Lakers by 30 points in the paint. 30. Plus 8 fewer turnovers, which led to 15 more points off turnovers.
Okay, so let's define this new problem then, it seems like. It's an inability to generate good offense, late, consistently, even with LeBron, and defensively, they just couldn't handle the Wolves getting into the paint and moving the ball.
That sums it up pretty well, I think. It feels like Minnesota exposed something more fundamental than just matchups. It's about late-game execution on both ends.
So Game 3 wasn't just a loss. It highlighted this really worrying trend for the Lakers. Offense dries up late, defense struggles to contain the Wolves' core strengths.
Exactly. Which leads to the big question for you listening. Do you actually think the Lakers can adjust? Can they solve this new problem before the series gets away from them?
Yeah, what adjustments would you make? It's going to be really interesting to see what happens next.
Definitely.
Hey, if you found this breakdown helpful, this deep dive into Game 3, do us a favor. Like and subscribe so you catch the next one.
And let us know your thoughts. What changes do the Lakers need? Drop your ideas in the comments or hit us up on social media. What surprised you most about that final 13-1 run?
Yeah, we want to hear from you.
And maybe chew on this as the series goes on.
Yeah.
Is LA's star power enough to figure this out? Or have the Timberwolves genuinely found the blueprint to take them down? It's something to think about.